All right, folks, if you're enjoying the show, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube and also go over to that Instagram and follow us there. And if you do both those things and you ask a question any which way, whether you comment on something or you fire it into the DMs on the Instagram, we will be taking questions there, and Mr. Anderson will file them together, and we will be answering them at the end of each episode. All right, welcome back to another episode of The Sportsman. That is Joey Colcutt. I'm the Big Ticket. And we got another one here, man. Joey D's coming in from San Francisco. I'm here in LA. And I know what I want to start with, but I want to see I want to know if you have something to start with. And I'm curious if it's the same thing.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things to talk about this week. One of the things that I definitely wanted to touch base with, if you didn't watch the Bill and Dumb Show, just came out today. We do a buy or sell segment, and I sold this one segment, and I sold it hard.
I did see that. That was not what I was thinking, but yeah, let's start there then. Let's start there. I like
sold this week on our Bill and Dumb Show. I sold the NBA sports, like the NBA All-Star Dunk Contest. And here's the thing. Like, I know I'm going to get some backlash on it because, listen, I watched Mac McClung when he played for Texas Tech. The guy is great.
Mm-hmm.
I have no ill will against him. I thought he was electrifying. But, I mean, here's where my issue lies, is the guy has played in over a year, 2 games in the National Basketball Association, and he's winning the All-Star contest, the dunk contest. I just think, like, when I look back at, like, the premier, like, slam dunk contest, it's probably, if not, the most exciting skills competition in all of sports. It really is. It's innovative, it's fun, it's exciting. There's like props, there's different things that they add. Now, I think over the years it's gotten too much to that point, but the bottom line is it's super fun to watch. And I've loved watching it for years. But when I think back to the best, and you think about Jordan, dunking from the free throw line, or you think Vince Carter doing like couple of those dunks, the 360 windmills, like it was absolutely nuts. And the best players at that time in the game were participating in this skills competition, which to me is the way it should be. Like, Mac McClung is not in the All-Star game. So why in God's name is he in the All-Star skills competition? It should be the best players in the world going at it, head to head, duking it out. I want to see, for the love of God, LeBron James make a dunk in the dunk competition. Why do we not get that? I don't understand why I have to watch Kenyon Martin Jr. No disrespect, instead of watching LeBron James make a dunk. I don't understand that. And I just think we're getting, and this is what I said on the show, I think we're getting kind of like not the top tier content that we could be getting. You know what I mean? It'd be like the cream rises to the top. But we definitely aren't getting the cream of the creme de la creme of the NBA playing in this thing. So I was interested to know what your take on that is, if I'm just an anomaly here. But I also just think that it's become so pop culture, and like I just think it's taken a nosedive in the last several years. And quite frankly, I could care less about it now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I edit the Brilliantly Dumb Show. So yes, I saw your sell, and I'm buying your take on that because I've been saying it for a long time, man. The All-Star game, and more specifically the slam dunk contest, has gone way downhill. At first, it was, like you said, it was all the stars. It was Michael Jordan, it was Vince Carter, it was all those guys. It was the best players in the entire game. Then it sneaked into this, like, okay, it's guys who are still in the league and definitely on teams and play a bunch, but they're the not as good players, obviously.
But even like back in the day, Blake Griffin was amazing when he was.
And now we're getting into this period where these guys aren't even in the league. They're just hiring blacktop players. They're hiring blacktop players. They're and one mixtapes. If you used to watch those are sick. Undoubtedly, those are sick. But this is the NBA All-Star game, and they're just like hiring high fly dunk masters to be on the
Ticket.
team for 2 minutes so they can participate base for the team in the slam dunk contest. Like Mac
Yes.
McClung, he was wearing a Sixer jersey. I take zero pride in that. I like the player. I like him. Like you said, I watched him in college. He was a phenomenal guy to watch in college. I like him, but I don't watch that and see him receive the trophy with the Sixers jersey on and take any sort of pride as a Philadelphia 76er fan in that win. I just don't.
Why isn't Embiid in it? Why isn't Giannis in it? Why isn't LeBron in it? Why isn't, like, I could go on and on and on. Why are these top tier players? Now, obviously Durant is hurt, but like, why are they not in it? And here's my thing. I think perhaps we need to reevaluate whether or not all-star games and these all-star weekends are worth it anymore. Because to be honest, I personally would not spend $1 of my own money to go to these things anymore. There's no defense. There's no relevance for the game. The game doesn't matter. They're clowning around. Perhaps the only thing that, in my eyes, that is worth going to is the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, because it has some sort of relevance and some kind of it holds some kind of merit, because doesn't it, like, whoever wins whatever if the National or American League win, then they have like some kind of like
home field advantage for the World Series,
extra game for the World Series,
home field advantage.
So you know what, these guys are actually trying, they're actually playing to win. Like, it's unbelievable when you watch the NBA All-Star Game. There's no defense. They don't care if they win or lose. They could care less. It's like the same thing. Like, the worst to me has got to be the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl. Did you see what they were doing for the skills competition? They were playing fucking dodgeball ticket. Yeah, what in God's name are we doing? Why do we need to have this? Like, just remove it. These guys need time off. They want to enjoy themselves. Give them some time just to be able to do their
Well, the thing about the Pro Bowl, though, the thing about the Pro Bowl is that they've never made any excuses that this is a highlight of our organization, of our brand, of our product. They've never made it seem like this is, everyone knows it stinks. Everyone knows it's for nothing. And that's why they have it in Hawaii every year. The thing about the NBA All-Star Game is they used to pride themselves on being the best, or at least it was always them in baseball who had the best. And for a long time, it was. Like, if you asked me 15 years ago, I would rather watch the NBA All-Star Game than baseball.
For sure.
And at that time, I liked baseball a whole lot more, but it was just more interesting, and you saw the best talent going head to head. I mean, you used to see Kobe Bryant going back and forth with Stephon Marbury, and it was amazing basketball. Yeah. And you used to see Vince Young in the slam dunk.
Allen Iverson.
It was amazing. And it's just, they've just watered it down to such a degree. And you made a good point on the Brilliantly Dumb show about, like, you've got all the best players there. They're all there, but they're dressed like they're going to the club later. Like, they're just hanging out.
They're hanging out, wearing grills and just grabbing one another, celebrating guys who are dunking, who, to be quite honest, Ticket, if I asked you what percentage of the people in that stadium knew who Mac McClung was, what would you say? I'd have to say it has to be less than 20%, or at least they saw he was on the itinerary and they had to look him up and be like, who is this guy?
Yeah, this was said a lot. This was said a lot in the building. People looked at the itinerary and said, that the guy from fucking college? The college player? Like, no one knows. Like, oh yeah, the Sixer, of course. Yeah, of course. One of the rising stars of the Sixers. Nobody said that. It's
I could not agree more. I think they need to reevaluate, and we can stop on this topic and move to something else, because it's not the biggest thing in the world, but just they need to be some reevaluations. When I'm watching Pro Bowl, football players do a longest drive and dodgeball competition, it's like, can we not get these guys to some relation to a football move, or catching the ball, or doing something that they're there for? I didn't watch Patrick Peterson play for the Vikings to see how far he could drive a golf ball. Like, no offense. It's like, otherwise, what are we doing here? Like, it's just, they're trying to make it entertaining, and it's not working. And it's like, let's just go back to the bread and butter, or if it doesn't work, remove it. I don't think anybody's going to be up in arms that they can't go to Hawaii and watch a dodgeball competition where Peyton Manning's sitting there looking like he doesn't know what to say.
Well, again, I don't think the Pro Bowl's ever marketed itself as like, this is one of our premier sides of our business. But with the NBA All-Star game, the one argument I guess I kind of see, I think it's kind of a cop-out, but it's like LeBron James, who's already seen as a master dunker, who's one of the best players of all time. I guess people say the one argument is he's got everything to lose and nothing to gain by going into that thing. Like, let's
show
say
some cojones. He's crowning himself. He's crowning himself at the Super Bowl as the king.
I agree.
Get up there and make a goddamn dunk. I don't understand.
I know.
What is so hard about that? You know what I mean? These guys have so much pride that they don't want to go up there and not win. It's unbelievable. Now, before we move on, I want to ask you a quick question. I want you to give me your and not obviously based on this conversation, because I wouldn't put it in there for the dunk contest, but like your top 3 in all sports skills competition, like things that you would like to tune in to watch throughout the years. And I'll start with mine, and then you can go with yours.
Wait, amongst all sports?
All sports.
Oh, I already know. We're going to have the same one for sure.
I don't know. I'm going to go at 3. I'm going to go the NHL shootout. The shootout competition. I always enjoyed that. At number 2, I'm going to go the slam dunk contest. And at number 1, I'm going to go the Major League Baseball home run derby. I thought that's always, when you used to watch these guys just smash balls out of, I think that's always been exciting. So that's my top 3. But is yours the same or different?
No, mine's different. But see, I 10, 15 years ago, that probably would be my list. But now the slam dunk contest not even going to be on my list. But
that's what I'm saying. Over the years, I'm saying like, not right now.
Not right now. Okay.
Like growing up, what you would want to tune into.
Oh, growing up. Okay. Yeah. Well, then yes, NHL shootout is number 3. Right now, NHL shootout's by number 1. But
yeah, NHL shootout's great.
It's the best. They have the best All-Star game. They're doing it the best. But yes, I guess through the years,
the slap shot competition's good too.
It's great. So at 3, yeah, I'll do the shootout, and then 2, I'm gonna go home run. I'm gonna go home run contest, and then 1. So we'll just flip flop 1 and 2.
Slam dunk contest
number 1. That was the most exciting shit.
It was unbelievable.
I looked forward to that weekend. And now, just like you said, just like, let's just give these guys the whole week off and let's just forget about the All-Star game.
Time off. What are we doing here?
Or make it worth something. Do the same thing baseball does. Make it.
The first prize should be like a paycheck or some kind of like stimulus that they can actually go out and really bust their ass for. Otherwise,
or just go back to East versus West and make it the same as baseball. Like whoever wins gets home field advantage or home court advantage for the finals. Like make it worth something. That. Yeah, I love that. So anyway,
what did you want to start the episode with? I'm interested.
I wanted to go with Netflix's new show, Full Swing.
Oh, it's so good. Have you watched it yet?
I've watched the first 3 episodes, and I have a lot to say about each one. But I'm interested to watch all of. Have you seen all of it so far?
I have not. I just watched the Tony Finau one though, and that is great.
I hear he's just crying through half of it.
Dude, he's such a family guy. Like,
yeah,
you don't realize like how good of a guy he is. He's just truly just an A1 class level guy, and he's just awesome. But yeah, I'd say my favorite episode so far, man, it's tough. There's been like the first one was really cool with Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. I think that's tough to beat. The second one with Brooks was really just cringeworthy, if I'm being honest. He seems like a slime ball. And then I'd say probably my favorite one is the first episode, if I'm being honest.
Wow, I think that episode sucks. I think that episode is absolute garbage. It almost got me to stop watching. I was so uninterested in watching Justin. Like the first 20 minutes, I was like, this is cool. They're buddies. They've been playing. It's Justin Thomas
making his push to win the PGA is super cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But for those who don't know, each episode follows a different player. The first episode follows basically, I mean, they touch on a lot of players, but they're following basically Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth, and they grew up together in Dallas, and they've been playing against each other since they were like 15 or something like that. And they still remain friends today. They work out together and all that business. But it was like, God, at 45 minutes in, I was like, we got it. They're friends. Like, let's move the fuck on or talk to some other golfers. But then episode 2, see, I feel differently. I thought that was so interesting with Brooks, the way he was falling apart. Like watching someone fall apart in front of a camera is
Mentally,
my favorite kind of TV to watch. And that's what Brooks Koepka was doing. He was literally falling apart. And his girlfriend was like, sometimes I don't know how to get him out of the dumps. And this guy was deteriorating. And the whole episode basically ends with like them asking him about Liv. And we know how that whole story goes. But at the time of filming, he didn't, but he just kind of grinned, and then the episode ended, and I was like, that was sick. But yeah, I agree. I mean, he was an asshole. He didn't come across as a good guy whatsoever. I mean, I don't know the guy.
I actually want to retake my statement, rebut my statement. My favorite episode, and it's not even close. You know what it is?
Ian Poulter?
Is Joel Damon. This
Joel
guy.
Damon.
I forgot about that one. I watched it. He is absolutely the biggest beauty. And like I already like consider him a friend of the pod because like we chum it up with him and he shows us love all the time. I saw him out on Riviera just this last tournament and he was like looking good, cold cuts, and he's a great guy. But you watch this episode, Tick, he isn't. He gets after it. He had to, I won't ruin it, but he had to qualify for the US Open because he dropped too low in the rankings, right? So like he had to do a qualifier to be able to qualify for the US Open. And after his first round, he was so bad that he just starts drinking White Claws in the clubhouse, goes out and puts on a performance. And then I'm not going to ruin it, but like he puts on a show and he's hysterical. Like he's true, he's candid, like he's had a real run-in like with his family and himself too with cancer. Like it's the best episode by far. It's not even close.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that one yet, but the sense that I've always gotten from him, I guess just through you guys and just watching him a little bit, is that he seems like he puts good times over golf. Like the only thing in the world that he puts over golf, like golf's definitely number 2, or maybe his family, but good times is where Joel Damon's at. Like he's just there for good vibes. He's chumming it up with other players. He's cutting up jokes, and other guys are like trying to putt here, and he's just joking around. And he's a beauty.
He really is. And in the episodes, they're talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, I stink at golf. I'm just here, you know. I'm here for the different reasons than the other guys are because I'll never win a major." And he's just hysterical. He's kind of reminds me of like me in the YouTube golf world, which is why I can relate really well. I mean, he's a million times better golfer, but I'm saying in terms of like, if you compare me to like some of the guys that we golf with, like the Micahs and the Grants and the Garretts of the world, like,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
I can't hold a candle to the wind to these guys, you know? And it's like, I'm still part of that whole world, but I'm by far not in it for the same reasons that they are, you know?
You're a good vibes guy.
Oh yeah. Immaculate vibes, unless it's cart path only.
That's right. That was the funniest part of that episode. But anyway, I want to bring it back to Brooks Koepka for a minute, because I know via some of our friends, like there's some things that we know that like, I know people have some poor opinions of him, but just looking at that episode alone, not like just wiping clean the slate of everything you know about him. And if the first time you saw him was watching that episode, I thought he came across as an absolute dick.
Yeah. I don't think he's trying to shy away from it either, Tick.
He's an asshole. Did you see the way I mean, I get it. Like the tournament had just ended and it was the Masters and that's what everyone works for in that world and stuff. But did you see the way he just blew by his dad? I could never treat my dad that way. I'd at least stop. I mean, I get it. The emotions were high and he played like crap, but God, he just blew by his dad.
Part of the thing too,
hardly even gave him,
and I think part of the reason why he was so successful for a while is because he is so competitive that he just has to win. So like he has this mentality that like when he plays in a golf tournament, he wants to crush his opponent.
Right.
He wants to win. He wants to defeat the field. And like, I think that can be a blessing and a curse, as you saw in that example. But I think he's just so dialed in and so focused that he doesn't think about anything else, you know? So that's why I think now that he went from the top of the top, like to winning 4 majors in less than 2 years, to all of a sudden, like the guy's playing on Live and nobody gives a fuck about him anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's devastating for him. You know what I mean? Like somebody like that thrives off of winning and excellence and being in the public eye. And,
the way
you take that away. it's tough.
And the way they cut that up too, like you always got to be aware of the point of view of a filmmaker. So this is obviously a documentarian, and I think it's paid for by the PGA. So there's a narrative that they want out there, I think. But the way they cut it together was like he was obviously slipping. He was recognizing that he was slipping, and he thought he was down on the dumps. I'm never going to win something big again. And then here comes Liv. So why don't I take the easy, quick money? That was the way they sort of painted it about him. And it was like, all right, I give up. Why don't I just take a big payday and ride off into the sunset? And it was I don't know.
Do you disagree with that? I mean, I know he's battled injuries and stuff, but that definitely seems like the case.
Yeah, I mean,
the Ian Poulter episode.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically comes out and says it like, "This is for my family. It's the best thing, and I'm not going to."
Yeah, but Ian Poulter's also what? He's like 40, 41. Like he's in a different place in his golf career. I
understand, but I'm saying like he came out and said it. Now Brooks is obviously a much better golfer than Ian Poulter ever is, but like the bottom line is, he probably realizes, like, with his injuries and with everything, like, there's only guys getting better. Like, Max Homa and John Rahm right now would run circles around Brooks.
They'd run circles around anybody other than Scotty Scheffler. They're the top three golfers and it's not close who's
and here's next. The thing right now, I feel like with this documentary out, with, like, a couple of, like, the Waste Management and all these tournaments that have just come out, the PGA Tour right now is so far above Liv. It's like when Liv first came out, it was like, oh, I wonder what PGA is going to do and this and that. And like, there could be some serious competition. And like, now I look at the two and I don't even think they're in the same category. Like, it's not even close. And I don't know, obviously they have unlimited funding. So yes, they'll be able to, fund Liv for as long as they want. But how long will it be relevant for? Because I don't think people are going out in the hordes to watch the Live Golf Tours. Now they just signed this TV deal, but to me, it's
hey, you got to find a way to get that CW channel. If there was one golfer that you wish you could still watch who went to Live, like who's the one guy you wish like came back or never left that you could still watch on the PGA Tour?
It's a tie for me between Cam Smith and Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, mine's Cam Smith all the way. I mean, but
Dustin Johnson he's been so fun to watch for so long, and like the aura that he has to him, and then you put Paulina in there when he wins, and you see what she's wearing on the course, and there's that whole backdrop, and like, but there's a lot of stuff. Like, he's a hell of a fucking golfer because he can drive the ball a mile, but he's a class grade A golfer. So like, I'd say it's him and Cam Smith for sure. But
yeah, I'll definitely miss Dustin Johnson as well. And we're talking about him as if they're dead. You can go watch them on the CW. But the thing with Dustin is, like, at least I got to watch him for like a decade, like, and be awesome. And what I felt like Cam Smith was just breaking, and he was about to bring so much exciting golf and competitive golf to the PGA.
Imagine if he was still with the tour. Like, I mean,
I know.
You have Cam Smith with Homa and Rahm, and then Scheffler. I mean, it would just be. And then obviously Justin Thomas and Rory. I mean, it would have been
super cool, but it is what it is, and it'll be exciting. I think I'll watch a couple of the tournaments on Live, but if they stink, I mean, I'm not going to give it too much time, but I might give that first tournament a shot. Do you
like the team concept? Because I like the individual player playing it out and going through the highs and lows of a golf tournament to win.
I do too.
So much more enjoyable.
I'll tell you what I do like, though, is I like the shotgun start, and I like that, two guys can have 2 holes left, but they're not playing the same holes. I don't know if I'd prefer it over the PGA and everyone start, but I do find that interesting, and I think that's a fun concept to toy around with, and I'm interested to see more of that.
It's fun to watch a final pairing, like that final pairing with Max and Rahm for the Genesis when they're going neck and neck, and there's no one else out there, so they just know like it's going to finish one of them probably winning. That is cool because the intensity levels are so high. I mean, I get nervous just hitting a golf ball just regularly. I can't imagine when there's hundreds of thousands of dollars riding on a putt. Like, that is intense, But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see. But I'll probably tune into a Live thing and just to see what it's like. But
Yeah, I've gone over to the Jets, and the Jet, before they had a TV deal, he would like find it on some weird Russian stream, and I would be like, oh, okay, all right. This was interesting, but the whole feel, the excitement, the competitiveness, the intensity, it just lacked all of that. It was like, the waste management is so cool for the PGA because it's once a year and that's it. But a lot of these live tournaments felt like the waste management each week, and it was like, all right, there's nothing special about it when it's every week, and all it really is doing is zapping a lot of the intensity and competitiveness out of the sport. So I don't know.
By the way, Tick, our golf picks did pretty good.
Yeah, they did. Morikawa was playing well, and then he kind of dropped off there. But Homa, man.
I said Rahm and Homa. I mean, I know that they're favorites, so probably a lot of people did lay juice on them. But like, dude, those guys are just so dialed in right now. I don't think you can go wrong with taking them as one of your top 3-4 guys if you're trying to look for a winner for a golf tournament. I mean,
Jon Rahm, man, is I mean, the both of them are unbelievable. Did you see that one highlight of Jon Rahm where he banged it off the grandstands and it kicked back onto the green? He was within like 6 feet of the pin. Did you see that?
I didn't see that one, but I saw him almost make a hole-in-one and call the shot. He says, that's perfect. It's going to be online.
That was sick. Dude, he hit this 1-3-wood shot. It was a par 5, I believe, and he hit it so strong all the grandstands were behind. He hit off the grandstand and it kicked back, and it was like 6 feet from the hole, and he sunk it for eagle. And I was like, man, as good as he is, sometimes there's a little luck involved. You
gotta be good to be lucky, Tick. That's what they say.
Lord knows I've never seen a kick like that in my life. I've never seen such a thing. I've never put enough English on the ball to get such a kick.
I really enjoyed watching Homa in the press conference to see how much that tournament meant to him. Like, how can you not root for this guy? He's just absolutely, and to know that, like, dude, we were golfing with him in our channel and like shooting the shit with him, and he almost shot his personal best while he was filming with us is like so sick to think about. But like, just to see him as like a guy and like as from a personal level, he's just a class act through and through. Like, he cares about the game so much. And obviously he won the Riviera in a year when there was a pandemic, so they didn't have fans there, so he wasn't able to celebrate. And being an LA guy, this time around, I think he knew that he had a legitimate, really good shot to win it. And I guess his family and friends were there, and he just came up, just a little short. And man, seeing how real he is and how much this tournament meant to him, that's what it's all about right there, man. That was really cool to watch.
I agree. I mean, yeah, you put it well. That was watching him get emotional about it. And I mean, that's why I picked him to begin with. Anytime someone goes home and there's a tournament that means more to them, I like to pick them. But Max obviously was an easy one to pick because even on top of that, he's already playing, the best golf around other than Jon Rahm. But yeah, seeing him get emotional about it and wanting to win in front of his friends and family when he didn't get to a couple years ago during the pandemic was emotional. It was good TV. It was good TV. All right, moving on here. I want to touch something before we get to these viewer questions. Football's obviously over. We just went through the first Sunday without it. But there is something coming. It's the XFL and the USFL. And are you going to give this a shot or no? Are you just saying fuck it to football until next September, or are you going to try XFL and USFL?
I watched a little XFL this weekend.
Wow.
I tuned in.
Okay.
I got to tell you, this league looks fun.
The XFL.
I don't know about this USFL. Yeah, I made it. At this XFL, the idea that you can score a touchdown and go for 3 points and get 9 points in a score I fucking love it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And by the way, there's some playmakers out there. There was some good football. Like, there was some actual. I was watching. I don't even remember the game I was watching, but like, I was watching one of the games, and there's some good throws and catches, and like, it's actually like, I feel like it could be kind of like, how like there's the G League for the NBA or the AHL for like the NFL. I feel like this could be like a lower league that they could actually find a couple top tier level guys on and draw them in for talent that could end up playing in the NFL, And then friend of the pod, AJ McCarron,
Yeah.
is playing in the XFL, led a huge comeback game for the win, and that was awesome to see too. So yeah, I I thought initially XFL this is garbage, but like, dude, I've learned one thing in my life in the last 10 years is do not doubt The Rock at all. This man knows how to succeed in any and every way possible. Whether it's in WWE, he comes into movies, he starts doing remember he did the Tooth Fairy?
Yeah.
Remember,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, this guy is just scratching and clawing to try to get into the movies. Now he's the biggest movie fucking star in Hollywood. And now he's got the XFL. I've just learned in my life, do not doubt this man. This guy has ideas and he has pizzazz and he has the cojones. And I think, if anybody could make something happen, there's a different feel to the league right out of the gate than when Vince McMahon did it with the he hate me bullshit joke of an XFL that it was before. I feel like this could be, I'm not going to say it's going to replace anything close to NFL, but it's definitely something I would sit down and tune into and watch or even bet on.
Yeah, The Rock is like vintage Tom Brady. Just don't bet against him. He's going to take your money if you bet against him. And yeah, AJ McCarron for the St. Louis Battlehawks led a great game. It was good. It was actually a really interesting game. And like you said, the level of play is high. Yeah, nothing's ever going to replace the NFL ever. But the good thing about this is they have it during the offseason for the NFL. So it's just something to get us through, something entertaining, still watch people throw the football around. And again, like you said, it could be seen as a little farm system. Maybe you see, a guy like AJ McCarron could still be a backup, and then he gets a job with somewhere in the league with Atlanta or something. And also a lot of these guys who get passed over in the draft, a lot of young guys who are really good players, but get passed over in the draft, get to show themselves there. And then maybe they get a deal up there. So they've got a lot of high level talent. They really do. The USFL did not so much, but they've got a lot of either guys who no longer feel like they can play in the NFL anymore because they're getting older, like much like the NHL. A lot of these guys, like David Krejci, stopped playing because he was getting older and he went to go play in Czechoslovakia, and a lot of guys leave and go play in Russia. It's like when you get a little older and these guys in the NHL are too fast for you. Now he's back, but he left for a little bit. And then, but a lot of these guys go to Russia the latter years of their career, and it's a little bit slower of a pace, but you still get paid pretty decently. And that's, what the XFL could be, mixed with a lot of young talent right out of college who just didn't quite get drafted or got drafted and got dropped in training camp. And
a la Mac McClung.
Yeah, exactly. And so six are great. But I like it. I'm into, like you said, The Rock. Don't fucking sleep on this guy. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's marketing this thing well. And on top of that, the talent's good. The games are good. It's not NFL, but the games are good. All right, let's move on to some fan questions here, Joey D. I have the fan questions. Where are they? Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. First fan question comes in from Mr. Jordan Sutton. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know if we talked about this before on the Sportsmen. I think we might have.
We did. Yeah, a long
this
time
guy's
ago.
gotten the worst. He's gotten the worst, like, basically, I can't imagine somebody who's gotten it worse than Pete Rose. Like, listen, he bet on himself, and I understand that, but he was fucking good, and he went out and won those games. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like he was. Listen, you get a slap on the wrist. Calvin Ridley bet on a fucking football game, maybe multiple, and missed a year. He didn't get removed from like the entirety of his legacy in the NFL. Now, obviously, you can't compare him with Pete Rose because he's a new player and he's not, in a Hall of Famer like Pete Rose is. But like, to take away the accolades of what this guy did is shameful. It's really brutal. I think I don't know. I would love to see him be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's me. Now, I'm not as big a baseball guy as you, so I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. But like, I feel like the punishment on this guy, this guy had armed robbery and he's paying the death penalty.
Yeah, well, there's a couple things here. I mean, first of all, he's the all-time hit leader. I mean, no one has as many hits as him, and he was not taking steroids. He was not. I mean, what are we talking about here? He's the all-time. He's got over 4,000 hits. It's unbelievable. Second of all, he was betting on himself, like you said, as a manager. He never bet on himself, never made bets when he was a player. And people go into the Hall of Fame for all different kinds of reasons, as players, as managers, as GMs, as owners, of all different kinds of things. Fine. He was betting as a manager. Don't put him in as a manager, even though he was a great manager too. But he never did anything like that as a player. And he's your all-time hit leader. Put him in the Hall of Fame as a player. He never did anything wrong. He did nothing wrong as a player. And he's one of the greatest players to ever do it. So
Bud Selig had it out for him. He must have.
That's what they say. But Bud Selig's long gone now. Fucking retroactively get his ass in there. So of course. I mean, that's anyone who, there's a lot of topics I respect other people's opinions. I don't respect your opinion. If you think Pete Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame. That's just a ridiculous asinine take. So yeah, it's a clear yes for me. Next question.
Resounding yes.
That's a resounding yes. It's abhorrent. I don't use that word often, but it's abhorrent.
That's a hell of a word.
A hell of a word. Yeah, it's a $5 word. Next question comes from Mr. Tim Roque or Roque. Either way, I apologize, Tim, if I got that wrong. Cutsy. If you were creating the perfect golfer, what attributes of professional golfers, past and present, would they be? And same question for ticket, but for football. All right, you go first with golf.
Oh, geez. Give me a golfer who has a Fred Couples swing mixed with a Tiger winning drive and sheer mentality and like ultimate focus, and then the ball speed and strength of like a Rory McIlroy that can pound the ball. I think, and then maybe who's really, I think those three things together, and then maybe like the dominance of like an Arnold Palmer as well. I think you mix like those four guys in, you're cooking with fucking nitro, man. Like you're looking at a guy who can't be stopped. But yeah, I think.
What about the putting?
I was trying to think who is the best putter that I can remember. Like. I don't. Well, McCarthy right now is the best putter.
Everyone always says him, yeah.
But yeah, I just think that like it's funny because every golfer, when you're watching the full swing, different episodes and stuff, every golfer brings something like an element to their game that sets them differently from another. Like I'll give you an example. Matt Fitzpatrick, he was showing there's an episode of him. He's marked down what he shot each club with. So like he pulls out a box and he could tell you how far he used to hit his 5-iron when he was 15 years old, and he's got all his scores and all his records, and he uses all this data. So like things like that are super cool because not everybody does that, and there's things that are super cool. Like some golfers are more analytical, some are more reactional. It's really cool to see. So I think like you take some elements and you kind of put them together like Frankenstein, it would be kind of cool. But those would be my four guys. I think like Fred Couples, when I look at his swing, it's just so pure and so freaking graceful. And then watching Tiger, like the thing with Tiger is he struck fear in the hearts of like every other competitor. Like if he was within 3-4 strokes going into like the last day, people were like looking down, watching to see what he was doing for that final Sunday. Like we never seen anything like that. So yeah, I think that would be what about you? That would be my answer.
Well, this guy asked me for the same question, but for a football player. But it's like there's a lot of different positions in football. So I guess I would
do a quarterback. Do a quarterback.
All right, for a quarterback, I would do the arm strength of a Josh Allen. I would do the accuracy of an Aaron Rodgers. I would do the speed of a Michael Vick. And
wow.
Yeah. And just the overall carrying himself, like the personality of like a Peyton Manning. Like I
What
want
about Tom Brady?
just a leader. Yeah, but that's the thing about, and then the consistency of a Tom Brady, because that's I think his biggest. I don't think Tom Brady ever did any one thing the best. I think he just did it so consistently and all. Yeah. And so then the clutch gene and consistency of a Tom Brady.
That's hard to beat. I mean, that is.
Yeah, that's a good player right there.
That young man's going to take over the world. I tell you what.
Arch Manning kid. All right, and then our final question comes from. There's a link here. Comes from James Patrick Featherston.
Showtime.
But I don't know where it is. I just had a link here to click on it, and it took me.
I have it here.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Here it is, right here. All right.
Okay.
It says it's a tie game in the Super Bowl. 30 seconds left. Forrest, which is obviously Forrest Gump, wants to go home, but Bobby thinks Forrest was talking bad about his mama. Could Bobby stop Forrest? Probably one of the greatest questions of all time.
All time. That's phenomenal.
Look at Sandler's face here. That's a guy who's not happy somebody's talking bad about his mama.
It's Bobby Boucher. No one talks bad about his mama.
I'll let you answer this. What do you think?
Nobody stops Bobby Boucher. I'm sorry, not even Forrest Gump.
No, I think Forrest is outrunning Bobby.
No, Bobby Boucher is laying a career-ending hit on Forrest Gump. I'm taking Bobby Boucher every day of the week.
What a question from Showtime. Well, what an absolute elite question from James Patrick Featherston. My God.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that was another good episode here and another great batch of questions.
By the way, we're rattling these things off here. We're doing a good job. Mr. Anderson has us in check.
That's true. We're at a whole new level of consistency going right now.
I will say this, that I put a poll on my Instagram yesterday. I said, what are you grateful for today? And I'm looking through all the responses, and then I see Mr. Anderson writes, I'm grateful to be a sportsman. And you know what? This guy just is cut from a different cloth, man. He really is. I mean, to keep us in line.
He bought his first Have a Day hat. I feel bad. We should have just sent him one. I think he purchased it.
We definitely would have sent. I definitely would have.
I wish he had.
We were sold out, but yeah, we definitely would have sent him one for sure. So, Mr. Anderson, next time you have any needs or anything that you require from from our side of things, Lord knows you do enough for us day in, day out. Just shoot us a holler.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, I think with the three of us now, that was the missing piece. That was like the one link that was just somebody to keep us in check. Because I'll tell you what,
the sixth man.
I don't think I would have been doing this from San Francisco otherwise.
No, we would have totally skipped this week. Absolutely skipped this week. We would have had 2 episodes come out over the past couple months, as opposed to what we probably had 8 or 9.
Well, yeah, but we just keep putting them out there. And by the way, have you seen the YouTube?
I have not. I hope it's going better, but I don't think the people care. What? I don't think the people care about how the YouTube's doing, but
we're up to 664 subscribers.
There you go. We're moving. We're chugging along here, people, and you're on the ground floor. If you're listening right now, you're part of the ground floor of a exciting new project.
Imagine one day we're like Mike and Mad Dog, just going back and forth, back to the roots of the original Sportsmen. And people like go to the annals of history and watch this.
Well, we'll have to start disagreeing with each other more often, even if we don't actually disagree. That seems to be the key to these like argumentative debate shows. Like they just take the other side regardless of what it is because it's better TV. That's what Skip does, and that's I think what Mike and the Mad Dog did too.
But the bottom line is you have good takes, and so do I. So I'm not going to disagree with them.
That's true. That's true, as long as we bring new and additional points to it. But anyway, go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube. Follow us on the Instagram. That was another great episode. Thanks, everyone around here, for your questions. Joey D and Mr. Anderson, as always. That is Joey D over there. Mr. Cold Cuts himself. I'm the Big Ticket, and we are the Sportsmen. Till next week, folks.